Hi all, Goda Govinda. This is Madhavalasya and welcome to my channel ML channel. So I just want to first thank each and every one of you who have subscribed, as well as like the views are hitting over 50 for each and every video which I publish. So first of all, thank you so much for all your support, and I hope like you're all enjoying the video. Or if you want to give me a feedback, please feel free to email me at madhavalasya@gmail.com. I repeat, madhavalasya@gmail.com. madhavalasya@gmail.com. So today we are going to discuss about I would say like a dive into a celestial secrets. So as I said, earlier, that my perspective of spiritual and practical life are the same. So at the same time, this discussion would be like a vigorous one, just breaking all the celestial secrets or the myths about Sri Mahalakshmi as well as Sriman Narayana. Sorry, I have a terrible allergy, so please bear with me. At the same time, I want to be as natural as possible. So first of all, let's understand who's Sri Mahalakshmi. So the first myth about Sri Mahalakshmi is she's only the goddess of wealth, right? Since childhood, we have seen all the pictures where she'll be showing Abhaya Mutra like this, and all the gold coins would just fall from her hands. Yes, I agree that she's goddess of wealth, but she's just not restricted to goddess of wealth. She's actually a supreme personality of Godhead. She's a wife of supreme personality of Godhead, and she herself is a supreme goddess. And she's the DNA of Sriman Narayana. DNA means, I hope you know, or I would say the space between the cells. So she's just not constrained to or confined to goddess of wealth. Of course, she's ready to give anything which we want, but the thing is just restricting her only to the wealth, assigning only, okay, you belong to wealth department, isn't it true? So the fact is she's a supreme personality of Godhead and herself, and she is a wife of Sriman Narayana, who is also a supreme personality of Godhead. So both constitute a supreme real, and both are inseparable entities, in the sense they can never be separable, even for a nanosecond or micro nanosecond, whatever it is for. So that is the first myth about Sri Mahalakshmi. Yet she's a very, very simple, loving, caring person, because I have seen many people stating like, oh, if you don't do this Mahalakshmi puja, you don't get wealth. I mean, she's not like that. She doesn't, anybody, even Sriman Narayana will not get angry at us. So first of all, let's stop tagging her only as a goddess of wealth. Of course, she can give anything, and without her, we cannot attain Sharanagati, or we cannot go to Sri Vaikuntham. So in my previous session, where I explained about Sharanagati or wedding to Sriman Narayana, that is not possible without her. So she is acting as a mediator to recommend us to Sriman Narayana to overcome all our faults and everything. Of course, that doesn't mean that Sriman Narayana will overlook our faults or just be thronging on through our faults. No, definitely not. But she acts as an acharya or a mediator, who would take us to the right path, and she would, make us leave us at Sri Vaikuntham, and make us to get married with Sriman Narayana. So that is what so without her, nobody can reach the eternal world. This is also confirmed by Bhagavan Shri Krishna in 18th chapter, 66th sloka. Sarva dharman paridyaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papyabhyo moksha ikshami masuchaha. So the meaning is just surrender unto me, and then I will banish all your sins, and I'll take you to the eternal world. So when he's saying mamekam, that means surrender only unto me. So whenever you're saying just leave it to me, then he would have touched his heart. He touched his heart. So in his heart, that is our eternal place of Sri Mahalakshmi. So he himself is promising, okay, mamekam sharanam raja, that means he touched his heart. That means what, you come through Sri Mahalakshmi, and then you do Sharanagati through Mahalakshmi, and then I would do it. So that's what our religious lineage talks about. So Sri Krishna himself has proved it in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, like without her we can never get into the eternal world, which is Sri Vaikuntha. With that being said, like many people would have questions like, okay, you are saying like, wedding to Sriman Narayana, and at the same time you mentioned Sri Mahalakshmi is his wife, then how come it is possible, a one person cannot have multiple wives, right? So I can explain you in detail. So Sriman Narayana is ready to take any form which you like, and just to marry us and just to have that husband and wife relationship. So that has nothing to do with Sri Mahalakshmi. So Mahalakshmi, as I mentioned earlier, like she's just a mediator to with Sriman Narayana of whatever form we are thinking of. Of course, we cannot think about Sriman Narayana as an husband, but we can think one of his form like Krishna, Rama, or whichever photo you like, or whichever Archa Vigram, like the divine idols which we like, we can think about him and then do it. Or if we think about Sriman Narayana, he will take a form as per our desires, and then he would come to us just to have the husband and wife relationship, and just to love us and bed us and have the live as an husband and wife relationship. So I guess that cleared the point. So please don't hesitate to wed Sriman Narayana thinking like, oh, Sri Mahalakshmi is his wife, how can he be his second wife or millions of wives? It's not like that. Sriman Narayana's wife is Sri Mahalakshmi. That doesn't mean that he would not take the form. He's ready to take a form just for us, and he would come to us just for us, and in that form he's just yours and not anyone else. So no sharing concept with respect to wedding Sriman Narayana. And another thing is like, there are many myths about Sri Vaikuntham, like what is the eternal place. So I would like to dig into all those things or reveal the secrets about it. So many other religious groups complain or just chastise like Sri Vaikuntham is not, it's only Aishwarya Dama. That means it's full of only wealth, and it does not have Madhurya Dama, which means which is not full of love. That is utter falsification. And they mention, other religious group would mention Goloka Vrindavan is the Madhurya Dama, where we would get all the husband and wife relationship with Sri Krishna. That is also utter falsification. First of all, Goloka Vrindavan is not in the eternal world. It is confirmed even by Madhavacharya Sampradaya. That is a different religious lineage group, where we have Sri Vaikuntham as an eternal world, and that is the only eternal world. And of course, Sri Vaikuntham has Krishna Loka, Rama Loka and everything, but we should not degrade Sri Vaikuntham as it is. Like Sri Vaikuntham is the lowest in the eternal world, Krishna Loka is the highest in the eternal world. No, degrading Sriman Narayana or Sri Vaikuntham is just epitome of ignorance. That's my point of view. With that being said, and it is also mentioned, so Goloka Vrindavan is in Karya Vaikuntham. Karya Vaikuntham means it's in milk of ocean. So it is actually just few lokas above earth. That's it. So it is just within our materialistic world, and it is not in the eternal world. So that is also confirmed. Another example is another example is most of you would have heard about Jaya Vijaya, the doorkeepers of Sri Vaikuntham, of the Karya Vaikuntham, who would have got cursed and come back to the earth. So first of all, we need to understand that Jaya Vijaya, they are not in the Sri Vaikuntham. They are in Karya Vaikuntham, which is the milk of ocean. Karya Vaikuntham, as I said, is just above the heaven. Karya Vaikuntham is a place where all the demigods, if they need help, they would just come and request Sri Mahavishnu and Sri Vishnu or Sri Mahavishnu to take to help them with any of the avatars. So that's what it is. So we call it as 5 forms of Sriman Narayana. One is Para, which is in the Sri Vaikuntham as Sriman Narayana, and then Vyuha. Vyuha means he is in the milk of ocean, that is in this materialistic world, so that Brahma, right from Brahma and Indra and everybody would come and request him, seeking his help for to help them with various things. And then third one is Vibhava. Vibhava means avatars of Sriman Narayana, which includes not limited to Krishna, Rama, Balarama, and then all the Dashavadaram or all the Avadas. There are all Avadas. Then fourth one is Antaryami. Antaryami means who is inside our heart always. And the fifth one is Archa. Archa means a divine form. because like Antaryami, I mean like we all know he's inside our heart, but we need a form to connect with him, right? I mean, of course, that is my point of view. I mean, I know he's inside my heart, I know he's everywhere, I know he's in everything, even in non-living things and everything, but then like I need to get to connect with him, I need a form. So that is where the Archa, the form, like he's very gracious enough to merciful enough to come as an Archa avatar, where we can actually see him in that form described as in Vedas, and we can fall in love with him. It doesn't matter we have to fall in love only with Archa avatar, even in the photos also we can fall in love, and he can come in this form. So example of that is like I myself like fall in love with one of this pictures. So if you don't mind, so one of this picture is his love. So I mean like he only gave his name, I mean like he only made me to choose a name for him. His name is Madhavan. So he's my husband because like I love him. As I said, like since I already took Sharanagati, that means I already wedded Sriman Narayana. So he came in this form to wed me, and we have like so many people, so many friends over here who love Sriman Narayana in different forms, like Ranganadhar, Narsimar, etc. So that is what it is. So coming back to the point where I left, so Goloka Vrindavan is not an eternal word. Another proof is like if you go to Vrindavan or the Vraja Bhumi, Braj Bhumi, they would have mentioned like Gopika Sris would come along with Krishna, and then they would just like have the rasa dance every day. One thing I would like to everyone to make it clear like is, when we reach Sri Vaikuntham, nobody can come down to earth unless like Sriman Narayana, or if somebody wants to take any Vibhava avatar, that's when only they can come. Only Sriman Narayana can come, no one else. Even if we wish to also, we cannot come back. So if Gopika Stris are coming back to this earth and dancing and doing Rasalila, that means they are not in Sri Vaikuntham, they are in Karya Vaikuntham. Okay, Karya Vaikuntham means it's just in the milk of ocean. So there also like we have Krishna Loka, Rama Loka and everything, and that means like they are not in the eternal world, so they also have to take births again and again repeatedly like us. Another thing is like next thing I would like to focus about is like the myths about Mahalakshmi and how other religious group would degrade Mahalakshmi. So first thing is like people would always say is like Radharani is a supreme and Mahalakshmi is a form of her, which is an utter ignorant statement. So in Vedas and Puranas, it is clearly mentioned that Mahalakshmi is a supreme goddess and not Radha. So actually Radharani, the name itself not mentioned in any of the Puranas or Vedas. So Radharani is a soul like us, and Gopika Stris are also soul like us. And proofs are Vishnu Puranam, Bhagavata Puranam also. None where they have mentioned the name of Radha. Of course, some people would come back and say like, hey, the name is mentioned, but I don't care, because in all the 18 Puranas, there's no names mentioned as Radha. Maybe in 19th Purana, I don't know, because like people would say like there are only 18 Puranas. If they are coming up with 19 Purana, then I'm not sure about, I'm not ready to comment on all those things. So Radharani is a soul as per our religious like beliefs, as well as per Vedas and everything. Radharani is a soul and she's not a supreme goddess. And her form is definitely not Mahalakshmi. That is a very, very utter ignorant statement. Sri Mahalakshmi is the supreme goddesses, because like without her, like Sriman Narayana is nothing. Another thing is like another thing I've heard about is like Mahalakshmi could not participate in Rasalila when Gopika Stris could, because like she came and requested Sri Krishna that I want to join, and Krishna said no, I cannot, because like you can only go to Srimanana, which is a epitome of stupidity. Why I'm saying is like Mahalakshmi is his DNA. Who is Sri Krishna? Krishna is just the Vibhava avatar of Sriman Narayana, right? So Vibhava avatar of Sriman Narayana means like whenever she's Ram, whenever he's coming as Rama, she's coming as Sita Devi. Whenever like he's coming as Sri Krishna, she's coming as Rukmini. So in that case, like how come Mahalakshmi cannot enter Rasalila, and Mahalakshmi is always in Samlesha with Sriman Narayana or in Rasalila with Sriman Narayana? And the proof is like Thiruvaimozhi. It's a beautiful script written by Nammalvar. I mean, so that is also another thing. So please don't believe in all those things, because in Vrindavan there is a place called Bilvavan, where Mahalakshmi is still meditating upon to enter the rasa, which is like utter rumor. I mean, it's just the epitome of rumorism. So please don't believe in all those things, because it is nowhere mentioned in Puranas, nowhere mentioned in like Vedas or anywhere else. Not even in any script mentioned that. It is just like came up by the devotees of like a certain religious group, because they could not handle anybody praising Mahalakshmi to be the supreme. and to establish their religious group as well, like they are just like spreading all these rumors. So it is not even a belief also, it is just a rumors. So how could like she without Mahalakshmi, Sriman Narayana is nothing, because Mahalakshmi is his DNA. So how could he would say no? Another thing is like, why would Mahalakshmi would come and participate in Rasa Leela? First of all, think about it, because she's always in Rasa Leela with Sriman Narayana, right? And she's gracious enough. So Gopika Sris themselves have mentioned in Bhagavata Purana that Shri Mahalakshmi is in your heart, like as a Srivatsakuri, and like without her excuse me, without her like we cannot reach you. That's what they have mentioned it several places in the Gopika Geetam, and everywhere they have mentioned Mahalakshmi, you are always holding Shri Mahalakshmi's hand and she's always in your heart. Yeah, she's your DNA. They themselves have mentioned it. So please don't believe in all those things. So Mahalakshmi, Gopika Sris attained Shri Krishna only through Mahalakshmi. Proof is Gopika Geetam, they praised Mahalakshmi in many ways, in order to attain Shri Krishna. The same way, so Gopika Sris are souls like us. So the same way, we have to attain Sriman Narayana only through Mahalakshmi. That doesn't mean that we're sharing him, how Shri Krishna took every form for every Gopika Sris, likewise he'll take us a form. And please don't believe in this rumor where it says Mahalakshmi could not enter Rasa Leela. First of all, it's like epitome of ignorance. Another thing is another rumor which I heard was I'm pretty sure many people would have heard about it. One thing is once Shri Krishna had a headache, and none of the medicines could cure it. And then when everybody asked him, he told when this happened when he was in Dwarka, he told everyone that he need the dust of his devotees lotus feet, and then if you apply, you'll be fine. And then even Rukmani did not agree to it, and then this news went to Vrindavan, and all the Gopikastris immediately scrapped their feet to get the dust and sent it to Dwarka. First of all, let us all think about it. Dwarka is in the west, is in the east, right? And then then Vrindavan is in the north. So first of all, in those days, how would the news would have spread, but how would they send it? It would have at least taken a week or 2 weeks to reach Dwarka, right? So do you think Shri Krishna would be suffering with the headache, or do you think Shri Rukmani Devi would make her husband to suffer for 2 weeks with headache, with a non-stop headache? She would herself given her dust of her feet and given it to Shri Krishna, excuse me, to make him relieved of his headache, right? Because, or do you think Shri Krishna would have asked about Shri Gopika Sri's lotus feet, dust of Gopika Sri's lotus feet? I would say no, because he loves only Rukmani, and Rukmani is a form of Shri Mahalakshmi. She's a direct expansion of Mahalakshmi. So in that case, how would we, how could we believe those things? First of all, logically also it doesn't make sense, right? Traveling from Vrindavan to Dwaraka itself, through flight itself is taking a day or two, more than a day, right? In flight, and then you have to travel in a taxi and everything else. Then think about it, in those days where there are no means of transportation like now, how they would have, it would have hardly taken 2 to 3 weeks for sure. Do you think Shri Krishna, Shri Rukmani Krishna would be allowing her husband to suffer in the headache? Definitely not. Those things are it's just made up stories. So please don't believe in that. And another thing is people are celebrating Radhashtami. Actually, Radhashtami is Radhashtami is actually a Rukmini Ashtami, because it's appearance day of Rukmini and not Radharani. And they actually changed it to Radharani, and they're celebrating it in Vrindavan and everything. This is confirmed even by the same religious group which I'm talking about. Excuse me. So basically whenever they are celebrating Radhashtami, that is actually Rukmini Ashtami, that is appearance of Rukmini Devi, which they changed it to Radhashtami, and they're celebrating it. So let's all celebrate Rukmini Ashtami. Actually, it is coming on 13th of September, next Monday, in just 3 days. So let's celebrate Rukmani Devi's appearance day as it is. So let's not believe Radhashtami is appearance day of Radharani. No, actually it's nowhere mentioned in the Puranas about Radharani, but it is confirmed by the same group Rukmani Ashtami is It is confirmed by the other religious group like Rukmani Ashtami is changed as a Radhashtami, and they have proof. In Mathura and all, they do celebrate the same day as a Rukmani Ashtami. Another thing is like, she's definitely, Shri Mahalakshmi is definitely not a soul like us. She's a supreme goddess, which I already mentioned before, and I want to reiterate it because like Mahalakshmi is definitely not a soul like us. And I know like certain religious group would convey like, Radharani is a supreme, and considering her as a materialistic body is a full offense. It's a nonsense thing. Shri Mahalakshmi is a supreme, and like considering her as a materialistic thing or a materialistic soul, that is a nonsense. That is a very stupid thing. So Radharani is a soul like us. And another thing is like, again, like another thing I heard about degrading Mahalakshmi is like when Bhakta Prahaladan was trying to make a statement to Narsimhar, stating that like even Mahalakshmi did not get this, like you made me to sit on your lap. Even Mahalakshmi did not get this. First of all, like Mahalakshmi is always in his heart, and she's always like sitting on his lap. If you see any of Lakshmi Narsimhar picture with Prahaladan also, she will be sitting on his lap. And do you think like Prahaladan would have mentioned, because Prahaladan is a great devotee, do you think he would have degraded Mahalakshmi to that level? So, like those are all like made up stories. Like people would say like, Prahaladan is more favorite than Narsimhar. That's definitely not. And even if that was the case, it was only because of Shri Mahalakshmi's grace, like, he was able to sit on his lap. So that is even mentioned in many Puranas. Even in Vishnu Purana also it is mentioned. So please don't go and get fooled by other religious groups or other religious belief also. Even that is not a belief. I don't want to call it as a belief. So that is not even a belief, first of all. It is just a made up stories, cooked up stories. So please don't believe all those things and then start thinking and start taking initiation into the other religious groups who convey like Radharani is a supreme, and then like Gopikastris are the best and everything. And another thing is like, I know like other religious group always says like, only Krishna would be giving us husband love. Sriman Narayana is cannot give that love, or Sri Krishna is the supreme. Of course, Sri Krishna is the supreme. Actually, I would like to mention, reveal a secret about that. Many people would have known about it. Like Sriman Narayana is like, when all the demigods respected, I mean like when all the demigods, went and pleaded to Sriman Narayana of helping them because of all the burdening things by the cruel kings who ruled at that time. Excuse me. Sriman Narayana plucked his one of his black hair, and then he just threw it, and that black hair turned into Sri Krishna, and he plucked his one of his white hair, and then he just threw it, and then that turned into Balarama. So if Krishna himself can give that Madhurya Bhavam, which is nothing but Krishna Kamam, we'll say. Kamam means it's not just the materialistic thing, because that Kamam is completely different, because I've already explained in the Sharanagati thing itself. Excuse me. So Krishna Kamam we call it as, or Bhagavad Kamam we'll call it as. So if Shri Krishna himself can give it, then why not Sriman Narayana, right? So let's not degrade Sriman Narayana as lower to Krishna or higher to Krishna. First of all, degrading Sriman Narayana itself is like epitome of ignorance. So that is another thing. And another thing is I'm just looking at the notes so that another thing I would like to reiterate is our group. So my religious group, I'm proud to say that I belong to a Sri Vaishnavism. Sri Vaishnavism is the best, is the apt and the logical wise as well. Sri Vaishnavism is the only religious group which would give Sharanagati, which is wedding with Sriman Narayana. Of course, other religious group would do Sharanagati for some other things, for getting a wealth or anything like that, but not for liberating us from the cycle of birth and death. So other religious group often blaspheme us, stating that Sri Vaishnavas are nothing but Ramanujacharya Sampradayam, Ramanujacharya's followers actually. So other religious group would blaspheme us, stating that Sri Vaishnavas cannot get that husband and wife relationship. They would just stand far away from Sriman Narayana in a reverence of awe. That is a utter stupidity, because our liberation is called as Sayuja Moksham. That means having a very eternal, beautiful husband and wife relationship. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. Our relationship with Sriman Narayana is only Sayuja Moksham. That means what? Our Sayuja liberation. That means having only eternal husband and wife relationship. That is, Sriman Narayana would take a form just for us and come to us husband, and then he'll wed us, and we as a soul, as females, as I stated in the previous one, and we are all his wives. So he would come to us as how Krishna took different forms for each and every Gopika Sris. That is also there. So let's not believe in all those things, and let's not get converted into the other religious group stating statements. They might seem very promising, but if you think logically and everything, it is not actually. So that is what it is. And the final one I would like to touch point is the Radha Krishna in a swing. Okay, so that is the ultimate secret. Maybe that is the cherry on top, I would say. So Radha Krishna in a swing actually represents us and super soul. Can you all believe that? So Radha is a soul like us, I told her, and then Krishna is the super soul, or we'll call it as Antaryami. So we both are in the same, swing is the body. So we both are in the same body actually. So that is the representation of us and our Antaryami, who is our soul, who is our husband, inside the same swing, which is the same body. So that's what I mentioned. He is in our heart. That means what? We are also inside our heart, because as a soul, both of us are in the same heart and in the same body. So that is the representation of Radha Krishna in a swing. So please don't get fooled by other statements or other falsified utter rumors stating that Radha Krishna is only for Radha Krishna and a swing is only for Radha or not for anyone else. No, it's just representation of a soul and a super soul, and swing represents the body. So soul and a super soul share the same level of knowledge, and then they share the same level of the intimacy inside our own body when we start connecting with him. So that is what the representation represents, or explain about. So that is all I have. So I'm just looking into the okay. So another thing which I would like to state is many people state taking Sharanagati is not a easy thing. They would just try to scare you, stating that if you take Sharanagati, all your karma will come and hit you hard and everything. Please don't believe in all those things, because taking Sharanagati is very easy. They would just try to try to deviate you, stating that don't take Sharanagati. Because I myself was an example. I was with the ISKCON group. I mean, I'm mentioning the religious group because I'm very confident, where some of the devotees told me oh yeah, when we are going through 18.66 sloka, which is Sarva Dharman Paridyaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tva Sarva Papyabhyo Mokshekshami Masujaga, where Shri Krishna stated that just surrender unto me, I'll just banish all your karma or deeds, past and present, and I'll take you to an eternal world. So when we are discussing about that, they were just explaining that it's very hard to do Sharanagati, because sometimes this karma will make you lose everything, and you will just come to the road and by losing everything, which is utter stupidity. Because Srimad Narayana is not a stone-hearted person as mentioned by them. First of all, neither Krishna or Srimad Narayana. Srimad Narayana, he would never make us fall down anything like that. So example is me. So after listening to them, I really felt it is not the right group I should be. So then Lord only took me to a different group, that is Sri Vaishnava, that is the current group, current followers. I'm following I'm proud to say I'm a Sri Vaishnavism. So that time I don't know that Sharanagati or wedding Srimad Narayana is the ultimate propaganda of Ramanujacharya Sampradaya. So after getting into this, I really started, Lord only made me to fall in love with him. And then he came in the form whichever I I thought him in a jeans and very trendy stylish person, with having a haircut, with wearing a sunglasses. Actually I just offered him these sunglasses, and then I just offered him a jeans pant, with a pant with a very trendy clothes. He did come in the trendy clothes, and he did even propose to me. So it is not a cooked up story, because it is my personal experience. I just want to share, since after connecting with him, he just wants everybody to be truthful, and I was he made me to be truthful to him. And because of that, he just came to me with whatever I offered it to him, with wearing jeans, being stylish. He just how current trend guys would be, having a six packs ab and side abs and everything. He did come to me like that. So why I'm sharing all these things, because I want you all to experience the same thing. Actually, you would get more experience than what I got from him. And another humble request, like, before I close on this session, please do not read Bhagavad Gita book given by any other religious book, including ISKCON. Because why I'm saying is, like, our religious group has the right authoritative meaning for each and everything. Because, like, Ramanujacharya has clearly mentioned, like, each and everything. So please don't read the Bhagavad Gita by any other religious group, because, like, it is all, like, it is not the right way of understanding Bhagavad Gita. And please don't, like, a humble request to everyone, please don't believe in other statements like Radharani is the supreme, or if they're trying to degrade Sri Mahalakshmi, like, please stand up for her, because that is our foremost duty. I'm not against any religious group, but at the same time I am against people who are trying to chastise, like, our followers, because, like, our religious group is the best one. And I'm very happy, and I have more courage to mention that, because ours is the only one who would give Sharanagati and who would take us back to the our eternal world where we would never come back. And then ours is the only one where Sriman Narayana, like, would be giving us a husband relationship with us, and not just a lover. So lover is a temporary relationship, but husband is the permanent relationship, permanent eternal relationship with us. And if anybody is chastising Radha Mahalakshmi, please, like, like, leave that place, or just tell them, like, if you want to believe in your things, like, stop chastising our Mahalakshmi. So please don't believe in this, and please don't get converted into, like, other religious group, rather than, like, if you're still thinking of, like, ending your birth and death life cycle, or this diseases and old age, please contact Ahobila Mutt USA, AHOBILA Mutt USA, or Ahobila Mutt India. Or please email me. I would like to share the personal assistant who are doing Sri Karyam at the Madam, where they would arrange a date, and so that, like, you can just, like, enjoy an eternal. I mean, why not try? I mean, like, we have tried so many things. Why not taking a Sharanagati? I mean, like, it's just a matter of 20 minutes and nothing else. They won't expect anything in return. So in that case, like, why can't you try and see if you're going to Sri Vaikuntham? So that would be a real challenge, right? So just try it and see how your life is post taking Sharanagati or post wedding Sriman Narayana. He's such a beautiful person. And that's it for today's session. And I humbly apologize to all the people whom I have hurted you directly or indirectly, but whatever statement I made is true, because I have proofs from all Puranas and Vedas and everything. But I would have intentionally or unintentionally hurted you, so please forgive me. Mano Vakayahi Anadikala Pravrita Ananta Akritya Karana Kritya Akarana Bhagavadapachara Asakyapachara Rupa Nanaveda Ananta Bacharan Arapta Karyan Anarapta Karyan Kritan Kriyamanan Karishyamanamscha Sarvan Asheshadaha Kshamasva Anadikala Pravritam Vibridhanam Atma Visham Kridasan Jagat Visham Cha Kridashna Vibridhi Vritam Cha Atyabi Vartamanam Vartishyamanam Cha Sarvam Asheshadaha Kshamasva. Thank you all. Goda Govinda.